Yeah! Can't steal it! Woo! Wheel and deal it! The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning. But brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
I'm the man of the hour, the man with the power. You sweet to be sour.
It's showtime, folks!
Welcome to the Grill Out. From the heart of Shillian, West Virginia, here's your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grill Out, episode 75. Happy 316 day.
What?
From our family to yours. And since he wants to keep saying what, one of my co-hosts,
What?
Josh Cole.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
He's just single wording it right now. He's just one wording it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him better that way.
That's Jason Lykens.
Yes.
Former.
The longest reigning
Yeah.
champion of all time for the Grill Out predictions. Did I lose it this last week?
Yeah.
I did. Yes. Thank you, Josh. Did I do it because I felt like the show was getting stagnant, that we needed to change up, and I don't care about the reign? Josh, I'm waiting on you to answer it.
Yeah.
That's right. I did. I did it for the people. I did it for The Rock. No,
What?
I did it for the people. I did it to make this show enjoyable.
Okay.
That's why I'm here today.
Oh, my
To
God.
make this show enjoyable.
Hello, everybody. Former Grill Out Predictions champion speaking. Yes, I am your new Grill Out Predictions champion by 1 point. Thank you, John Moxley.
Yeah. Jason and I tied, so you won.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
I told you I would cope at the end. Does that give me a point?
Fair. But yeah, no. And altogether, how many days? Because you were calculating it before we got here.
so
Combined days he has.
Oh,
Through 4 reigns.
216.
216.
Yeah, so that one was 106. The longest, again.
Yes. He won the title at AEW Full Gear and had 4 defenses at WWE Survivor Series War Games, AEW World's End, WWE Royal Rumble, and WWE Elimination Chamber. So,
It doesn't matter how many times you win. It matters on that one time you lose. And so, I admit, I lost.
It's weird because the first one felt longer, even though this one is longer. I don't know why.
I don't know.
maybe.
I think the first one I had more defenses.
You did. You had 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it honestly depends on the
season.
schedule.
Yeah.
The schedule that we got, because sometimes we'll go a while without a predictions.
Yeah,
and
like
then,
we did while Josh was champ.
Yeah,
Didn't have that many.
yeah, but then we got times where we'll have 2 or 3 events back to back to back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a gauntlet that you got to go through. So,
Which was my second reign. My first longest reign
Yeah.
was like that.
it was like 90 days, and you went through. Yeah, you
seemed
defended
like
it
I was
6
doing
times.
it
From
all.
WrestleMania to Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of AEW Revolution, I'm just going to go ahead and get started on this. We'll start from the bottom of the rundown and go up.
Start from the bottom. Now we're here.
Exactly. AEW International Championship Eliminator Tournament. They started that this past week. At Revolution, Kenny Omega defeated Konosuke Takeshita to become the new AEW International Champion. With that, AEW is having an International Championship Eliminator Tournament where the winner will face Omega at AEW Dynasty on April 6th. Orange Cassidy, Speedball Mike Bailey, Ricochet, and Mark Davis move on and will face each other next week. Well, this week, actually, on Dynamite.
When will they face each other?
This upcoming Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Side note, Kenny Omega was previously regarded as AEW's recognized as AEW's first Triple Crown champion for having held the World Championship, World Tag Team Championship, and World Trios Championship. And now with the international title, he is AEW's first Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
So yeah, The winner of this will face, like I said, Kenny Omega at AEW Dynasty on April 6th. There is a lot of talk, though, about Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada facing each other, I believe, at All In. I think that's what the rumor is, because they want to combine the titles.
That's also a rumor too.
Yeah, so that's why just take that with a pinch of salt at the moment.
Salt.
Yes, but that's kind of what the rumor is going around. Which we've talked about before on the show. They should combine the Continental and the International title.
I like salt.
It's like that the guy that does the Boomer stuff online.
I don't
he's
necessarily think you need to combine them. Just stop putting ROH titles on the show.
Yeah.
No, they need to combine them. There's too many titles. If everybody has a title means nothing.
Yes. I'm okay with the TNT title and the international title.
It's like not even there.
I know. But
Who's the TNT champ?
Exactly.
Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on the pre-show for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of shows you what they think of the TNT title at the moment. But I don't know. I do think the Continental title, I think it's useless. I don't think there's anything of value with it. I mean, I'm kind of glad it's on Okada's around his waist now, because it's around a champion's waist. But other than that, what purpose does it have? I don't think it has any.
Two.
One
of them is a tournament. The other one is it's part of the American Triple Crown with the ROH title and New Japan Strong title.
Well, you know what? Axe it. Give it to something. Give it to another title that they got.
Mm-hmm.
So at least that's, I don't know. That's the way I look at it.
What title does Kenny have?
The international title.
Well, then get rid of that one.
That one has more history.
Well, Josh, what's going to make you happy, buddy? Anything?
I don't know.
We're wrestling fans. We're never happy.
Well, I try to be happy, but y'all make me depressed.
I listen.
I think the current titles are okay. Just maybe feature people who held them more and stop putting ROH titles in AEW.
I mean, I definitely agree with, don't put ROH titles on an AEW show. Mm-hmm. Is there still the triple team title?
The trios title?
Yeah, trios
it's
title?
on Death Riders. They don't defend it.
If you have titles and you're not going to defend them, make it a story. Mm-hmm. Give a reason.
One of the quickest, one of the easiest stories you could throw into that is you could say, well, they haven't defended the title in 30 days. Mm-hmm. So we're going to either strip you or you have to defend the title tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the World Championship, one of the best titles in the business, looking titles in the business. It's in a briefcase. Haven't seen it in months.
I don't think he has it. I think it was stolen outside of a steakhouse. A la Y2J.
First, the inaugural AEW World Champion.
And the current ROH.
Yeah. Which, speaking of that, they did main event AEW Revolution, and it was a bit of a snooze fest with that. I thought this just, and y'all go ahead and put your opinions in on this, but I'll just say mine. I think that they had a chance. I don't think it should have closed the show. Because leading into the next thing we're going to talk about is Mariah May and Toni Storm tearing basically the house down with their match. That was the best story that AEW had going into AEW Revolution. That is a world title.
Of all their stories ever.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. It's up there with what they've done. The women's title is a world title. That is what it's considered. It is recognized as that. So I don't see why that could not have closed the show. With Cope and John Moxley, and then putting Christian Cage in there, it seemed like they put Christian Cage in there because they forgot that he had a contract to where he can challenge the champion at any time. Maybe they should have had Christian pull an edge, ultimate opportunist. Maybe, whoever wins the match, whether it's Cope or John Moxley, whichever, have Christian come out, take, beat a wounded person as it is, and become world champion.
Yeah.
Take that to Dynasty, drop the belt to Swerve. At least that's what I would have done.
I definitely think that, with cashing in the contract, Christian Cage should have won. that would have been a more compelling story
Yep.
that at least would have brought some excitement into it. Moxley is boring me.
Yes.
I'm completely bored with it.
I'll say at first I was okay with the Death Rider thing. Like I was like, okay, this is a little different, but then after a while, like, yeah, it's boring.
Yeah.
I don't. That's what I mean. Like I don't know. But speaking of, Mariah May and Toni Storm, Timeless Toni Storm defended her AEW Women's World Title against Mariah May in the conclusion of their prominent feud at Revolution. Their Hollywood-ending Falls Count Anywhere match was arguably the match of the night. Most discourse online is that it should have been the main event. After the way the actual main event went, it's absolutely agreeable. Nevertheless, these two proved why this story has been the biggest story within AEW. The ending of the match with the callback to the heel, the shoe, to me, absolute cinema. She pile drives her, 1, 2, 3, and then up on the Tron, the end. That's, to me, how the show should have ended, right then and there.
Yeah.
And if this tickles your fancy, Dave Meltzer also gave it 5 stars, which is the first women's match he gave 5 stars to outside of Japan.
Yeah.
So just think what this could have had in the Tokyo Dome.
15 stars.
15.
Yeah.
There were actually 3 5-star matches on this card.
That's true. Didn't Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita,
And Ospreay and Fletcher.
yeah. Which those 3 seemed like, they were they were pretty much bangers. I mean, for lack of a better term.
Well, where do you think they go with Toni Storm now?
It looks like they're building they're building a match between her and Megan Bayne.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Megan Bayne came out this past Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. She attacked her.
Yeah, it's not just Tony she's been attacking. She also attacked Mercedes Moné and all of that. They're kind of they are kind of building her up to be.
They had a match. Well, Megan had a match against Thunder Rosa on Collision, and then after the match, Toni Storm came out and attacked her. So,
Okay.
see, so it seems like at the moment that I don't see Tony dropping the belt anytime soon. I just don't. But that's the direction that they seem like they have been taking. They are going to take her. Also, Megan Bayne at one point, because she did wrestle for AEW kind of on a date by date basis with them.
Yeah, it was like I think during the pandemic era.
Yeah. Which, speaking of pandemic era, we'll talk more about that in the middle segment. But
I would say I didn't care for her that first time she popped up, but she's really impressed me more now.
yeah, she has sort of taken the Anna Jay response to it and went over to, I believe it was Stardom, but it was somewhere in Japan. I know that. Went over there, the age old thing. You need to learn how to work. Go to Japan.
Shucky ducky quack quack.
What?
Also,
What? I see you drinking your little tea. Is it good?
it is. It's quite tasty.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What? What?
Yes.
What?
Who?
Shucky ducky quack quack.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Booker T, though, he really enjoyed the Stephanie Vaquer, and
really enjoys it.
he did. He was like all about that
Yeah.
match. And the NXT
Wasn't that
Roadblock.
the match that they also had a Booker T chant going on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because, Stephanie Vaquer's doing this thing where she's got her legs around Julia and she's slamming her head into the mat. And that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
And somebody's got their phone out and they're filming it, and then they just pan it over to Booker T. Booker T, like, he is all in that.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like,
I mean, I can't blame him, but
no. But yes, so Stephanie Vaquer did defeat Julia to become the NXT Women's Champion. She is also the NXT Women's North American Champion. Also on SmackDown this past Friday, the Street Profits defeated #DIY to become the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Also, side note, it looks like WWE is about to debut Rey Fenix and have a returning Aleister Black, a.k.a. Malachi Black.
yeah.
He doesn't have a clause. Malachi Black.
Nope.
He was
Ray.
Yeah, his contract
Neither
expired.
does Miro
Yeah,
or Rusev, whichever.
it may be Rusev Day again.
Yeah. And they were putting a 4 up. April 4th is Rusev Day.
So is April 5th.
And the 6th.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every day's Rusev Day. They missed an opportunity with that. But yeah, so Aleister Black, contract expired, he doesn't have a clause, so he can pop up, and same for Rey Fenix. They released him, so it's only a matter of time before it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Stephanie Vaquer, like I said, both the women's North American champion and the women's champion in NXT. The reason why for this sudden change with Julia, because she did just win the NXT Women's Championship, is because she's taken time off due to an injury, from what I'm hearing. I don't know what the injury is, but
it doesn't seem that serious because she worked pretty well that match. So
yeah, so it may be just like something that she has to take time off on. If not, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Like, deal with it now and not worry about it as much later on. And speaking of
Shucky ducky quack quack. Can't wait till Julia's back.
yeah.
Also, the time is now. The last time is now.
Or is it?
The time is near.
The end is near. Wabadoo. Wabadoo. John Cena supposed to be on Monday Night Raw either tomorrow, March 17th, or tonight, depending on when you're listening to this.
Or
yesterday if you're listening to this on Tuesday.
Or 4 years ago.
To which I really appreciate you going back to the catalog of this entire show.
Yeah, to the last episode we're ever making.
Hello, 2029 person that's listening to this that was recorded in 2025.
Hello, future from the past.
Before it comes out. No, we did not do that thing that you read about much later.
On March 17th, John Cena will make his first WWE appearance since turning heel. It is being advertised that he and Cody will be under the same roof in Belgium. Judging by Cody's promo this past Monday, it will be a heated exchange from both of them in the ring.
Salt.
Yes. Salt.
I like salt.
What if, like, the last episode of the year, John Cena comes out in a salmon jacket?
Maybe.
And he actually retires.
Wait, what if it's Mark Henry's salmon jacket?
Yeah.
It is the salmon jacket.
Yes.
You know, I would really, I would want to see John Cena, like what it would look like on him, because he's a rather sizable person. What Mark Henry's salmon jacket would look like on John Cena, or just his jacket in general. I feel like it would.
Yeah, I don't think people realize like how big Mark Henry really was.
Yeah.
Because he has slimmed down a lot.
He has. Yeah, back in his powerlifting days, he was a scary, scary man.
Yeah, we talk about video games. I always hated how they put him in the video game. He looked way smaller in the video game than he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like I don't think they ever did him justice.
No.
I think Mark Henry's another one of those wrestlers that like people started to appreciate after they retired. Like they started to have a lot more appreciation for him, and I think he is
I want to hear something really scary.
little bit underrated.
Mark Henry, with his like Olympic powerlifting days.
Yeah.
So picture Mark Henry when he first came into wrestling. He could dunk a basketball.
What?
Yeah, he was in a dunk contest, a celebrity dunk contest. It's on YouTube. You can look this up. He gets rim. He's like a 400-pound man. He's a 400-pound man, power lifter, who could get rim on a basketball goal.
Oh wow!
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this: one of the craziest stories I ever did hear about Mark Henry was he was doing a promo. This is like when he first joined. He first got with WWF at the time, and they tried to pull a prank on him because Vince was known for ribbing people.
Yeah.
And they were doing this promo where Mark Henry bends this skillet.
Yeah.
And the original skillet was gimmicked. Okay, it was supposed to be a lot easier to bend. They switched it out with one that wasn't, just to see what he would do. And he bent it like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And then Vince looks at Mark Henry, and this is coming from Mark Henry's mouth. Vince looks at him and says, "Remind me to never make you mad." I would not want a mad Mark Henry coming at me.
No.
Like, if he's going to do that with a cast iron skillet, could you imagine what he could do with Like,
was it a cast iron skillet?
or just I think it was just a regular skillet.
But I mean, I've seen numerous strong men like roll up skillets. Doesn't make it less impressive. I can't do it.
Oh no.
But
Or like the phone book thing, and they just rip it in half, or whatever. But yeah, like that's just terrifying. But nevertheless, John Cena will be at Monday Night Raw. At Monday Night Raw.
Does he come out with his regular music?
I don't. I don't think he should.
No.
No, I definitely think he should have new music. Now, is it the music that he had in
what, Thugonomics?
in 2013. Now, some people have been wanting him to bring back Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah.
I don't think he should.
2013. What?
20. Okay, so I think it was with Chris Van Vliet. He talked about in 2013. That was when he was originally supposed to turn heel.
Something there.
Yeah, like I think there was something that was wrote and recorded, just never released. So, like, does he bring that out? He also talked about how he was going to change his entire look around and get rid of the jorts and just wear like an amateur wrestling singlet. And not just like the Kurt Angle singlet, like the kind that you would see in like the Olympics, like the really thin in the middle and in the back, which I think would look like incredibly weird on him. I don't know if that would be a good idea.
Well, I mean, just go back to when he first came out in just the little shorts.
That's true. That's true. I think honestly, if he does come out, when he does come out, I think he should have like a suit on.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should be very corporatized. Like, let's not go back to the Doctor of Thugonomics. That's really old Cena.
Yes,
and that's kind of cheap.
It is.
Yeah. Do something very like Chris Jericho 2008-esque, like very just stoic, very corporatized. Wears a suit, like no more. Yeah, like just full that. So. Lean completely into the corporate side.
What was his Fast and Furious character?
I'm not sure.
He'd just be like that guy. I don't know.
Just be like that. Just be like that.
The first time he played him, not the second time. Second time he was a good guy. So
yeah, no. I haven't. Be honest with you, I have not watched the Fast and Furious. I haven't watched any of them.
What number are they on? Like 28?
Yeah.
Which one have they made more of? Fast and Furious or Land Before Time?
I don't know.
What?
There are a lot of Land Before Times.
Yes.
Is there?
Yes.
I did not. What?
Yes.
This is a wrestling show, and I'm learning things that I'm not.
Fast and Furious, there are 10 main movies and then the one side movie with The Rock. So.
Okay. Okay.
And they're supposed to. The 10th movie is supposed to be a trilogy. So.
Okay. Jeff, are you looking up how many Land Before Time?
Oh my God, there are so many.
How many? Hold on. I'm going to say 15.
32.
What's the number, Jeff? Keep in mind, on this wrestling podcast, this wrestling radio show, we are now going to find out the number of Land Before Time movies that have been made. This is an animated movie about dinosaurs. Now, keep in mind...
Luchasaurus.
No. Okay, Jeff, what is the number?
Okay, I'm going to give you the number real quick, and we got to get to On This Day in Wrestling History. 14. 13 of them are direct-to-video.
Yes.
That's why I didn't know there was that many of them.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The latest one is 2016.
Huh.
Okay.
We're due another.
Yep, we are. Land Before Time, do your thing.
Speaking of history.
Shift gears to On This Day in Wrestling History. March 16th,
Stone Cold Day.
1994. Yes, it is. Happy 316 Day.
Don't say it again. Yep.
In Munich, Germany, Mick Foley, wrestling as Cactus Jack, famously lost his ear during a match with Big Van Vader. That's the infamous match where he did the hangman on the top rope, between the top and the middle rope. They tightened him up a little too much, and
Yes.
he got stuck and came out and popped his ear off.
Yep. Where
he's-
the ref famously put the ear in his pocket and then told Mick, "I've got your ear in my pocket."
Like he was Mr. Potato Head or something. Pop. March
Oh God, they should have
16th.
made that as like a toy.
Oh my God, no! That would have been hilarious, though. March 16th, 1998, on WWF Monday Night Raw, Triple H beat Owen Hart for the WWF European Championship. Hart was already injured before the match, and so when Triple H got him in an ankle lock, the referee called for the bell and awarded the win and the title to Triple H.
How about that?
And there you go. Last one, March 16th, 2019. Over the Top Wrestling's Scrapper Mania 5 was held in Dublin, Ireland. Pete Dunne and Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate beat the Kings of the North, Bonesaw, Damian Corvin, and Duncan Disorderly in a 6-man OTT Tag Team Championship match.
That's over the top.
Over
the top.
Yeah.
Ireland.
As a result of the win, Mustache Mountain minus Dunn became tag team champions. In the main event, Jordan Devlin, on his birthday, beat Volta, known now as Gunther, to become the new over-the-top world champion, OTT world champion.
There's another on this day, but we'll save it for the next segment because it ties into that.
Yes. And speaking of that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the more awkward times in wrestling history.
It's time for more of the Grill Out. Here's Hollywood Jeff Petty.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grill Out. I'm your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty. I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, both of them, Josh Cole. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And the reflection of perfection, Jason Lykens.
Yes.
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 So COVID-19 was crazy, huh?
Good Lord.
Pandemic was wild.
I was trying to do a bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, there we
there
go.
you go.
All right.
You feel better now?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yep. So today loosely marks 5 years since we were in the pandemic era of professional wrestling, just the pandemic in general.
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
of life.
yeah, because I mean, it didn't just affect wrestling; it affected everything.
Yes.
I was even off the air. I was telling Jason and Josh about my time working at another radio station when this was going on, and that was a rather unprecedented time. But if you're a long-time listener of this program, you know that we love to talk about the history of professional wrestling. One of the craziest times to live through, not only as a wrestling fan, but as a person in general, was the COVID-19 global pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic did literally shut down almost everything. March Madness was canceled on March 12th, marking the first time the tournament itself had ever been canceled. Also, we were a couple of weeks from WrestleMania 36 in Tampa Bay. Once the world had shut down, most organizations did stop operations momentarily. Pro wrestling kept going in certain aspects. On April 9th, Florida's Division of Emergency Management added an exemption to the state stay-at-home order for employees of a, quote, professional sports and media production with a national audience, end quote, if closed to the general public. So if somebody was a professional sport organization and had a product that went nationwide, they could do it. They could film it and all of that to distribute it, but it had to be closed to the general public. AEW took full advantage of this same ruling, running shows from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, while WWE were in Orlando, Florida, at the Performance Center and then later the Thunderdome. From August 20th to July 2021, which had
2020.
August 2020 to July 2021, which had 3 locations in Florida. The Amway Center in Orlando, then Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg beginning in December, which was coincidentally known as the Thunderdome from 1993 to 1996, and finally the Yuengling Center in Tampa from April. NXT would move from Full Sail University to the Performance Center in October, adopting the Capital Wrestling Center name, which was their version of the Thunderdome. They no longer use the CWC name, but have made the Performance Center their permanent home with the exception of big special events. March 16th, 2020, the first WWE Raw of the pandemic era in the Performance Center, and WWE's second overall pandemic episode after the March 13th episode of SmackDown.
Famously had Stone Cold on there in an empty arena, kicking Byron Saxton down low.
That was the only good thing about that.
Yeah,
because it was so weird. Like if you watch a Stone Cold promo, or just any promo, but especially Stone Cold, he very much feeds off of the crowd.
Yeah.
He goes back and forth with the crowd. I mean, that's why the What chant became a thing.
Yeah.
So to sit there and watch him, real quick, cut a promo
yeah,
with nobody there was a whole nother level of awkward.
yeah. I might be wrong, but wasn't that the first time they officially recognized 316 Day?
I think it was because there were promos leading up to this of them promoting 316 Day.
Yeah.
Like it was going to be a big thing for them. And then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite after that, that's when Cody comes out and he gives the speech about basically how the show must go on and et cetera, et cetera. And again, it was the weirdest time to be a professional wrestling fan.
Yeah, it was interesting how production changed, too, because WWE kept the hard cam like they usually do. Then AEW decided to put the hard cam facing the Titantron, and WWE saw that and did that, too, which made the production much better.
Yeah.
So you're not looking at an empty arena.
Yeah, and also the Thunderdome was a very interesting concept.
Yeah, it won some innovative awards. Awards in innovation, I should say.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. My brother was actually on there one time. I think he was like on the first SmackDown episode that had it. So, and it's funny because you go back and you watch that episode, you can see him, as the New Day is coming out. You can see him with a New Day T-shirt on one of the screens. So, but for a entertainment medium that requires crowd participation, this was something very, very different.
Yeah.
It was very hard to watch sometimes.
Well, that's just Kevin Dunn.
No, well, that was the time of Kevin Dunn and his horrible production ideas. That real quick, I know this has nothing to do with professional wrestling, but just because we are on a radio show and a podcast and production and everything, the zoom in and zoom out with every slam, every bump, I hated it.
Yeah.
I got to the point to where I just turned off WWE simply because I just got tired of seeing that.
I won't lie. I never really noticed it until people like Wrestle Talk started to point it out. But now when I go back and see it, I see it much more.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of one of those things. Unless you have a background sort of in it, you're not going to pick up on it.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those things, once somebody points it out to you.
But I guess I'm also kind of used to the fast-paced stuff from video games and whatnot. So maybe that's why I didn't quite notice it as much.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't, going back and watching 2015, 2016, I didn't notice it as much then, but maybe also they started utilizing it more later on. Which is just a poor. I don't know if that was Kevin Dunn's idea or whose idea that was. It was just a poor
it was
production
probably done
idea.
because it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. And for good reason though. Yeah. For very good reason. So
the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic. That was also the first time that WrestleMania was on 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it was supposed to be one night. WrestleMania 36 was to take place from the Raymond J Stadium.
Yeah. Raymond James.
Raymond James. Yeah. Where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play.
Which they did put at WrestleMania 37 there. But
yes. Yeah, WrestleMania 37 was there. That was it
was still under a pandemic, but they were limited.
Yeah, they the crowd was extremely limited at that point. They were still in the Thunderdome. But that was sort of the first sign that, hey, we're going
WrestleMania was not, but yeah.
Yeah, WrestleMania wasn't, but WWE in general was still in the Thunderdome. And that was also that was sort of the first sign of that we are going to go back to somewhat normalcy.
Yeah.
Was that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they decided to keep it in Tampa the following year.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm just sitting here thinking like, I'm just sitting here thinking like a kid 20 years from now is going through like all the WrestleManias and then gets to WrestleMania 36 and 37 and is like, why are they the same thing? And then it's like they look at the dates, so like, that's why they're the same thing. That was also the same year that New Japan Wrestle Kingdom went to 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't really do that anymore because they were at 2 nights and then eventually they went to 3 nights and then they just went back to 1.
I guess you can kind of consider it 2 nights with Wrestle Kingdom and then Wrestle Dynasty.
Yeah, but it's where it's 2 different shows. You kind of like I guess there is 2 nights, but it's 2 different shows, so it's like not that, but it's still it's weird. But the pandemic, one thing that did come out of it though, that was good. A lot of stuff didn't, but one of the good things was cinematic matches.
Yeah.
They were sort of the saving grace for wrestling.
I wish they would have taken more advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, instead of just, take advantage of it how?
A few more.
A few more? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A few more wouldn't have hurt. For some reason, I started thinking, like, they probably should have used it a lot more. But then, then you run the risk of watering it down, but don't do it that much. Yeah, they should have. I agree with that. Yeah, they should have.
Yeah, from WrestleMania until they went to the Thunderdome, they had I think 1 cinematic match every pay-per-view for WWE, I mean. And then when they went to the Thunderdome, they just stopped doing it because they were able to do it live. Other than the Inferno match had a little bit of it there, but...
Yeah, there was some production type stuff put into that because, you can't really set somebody on fire.
Yeah. I think I almost would have enjoyed a wrestler point of view.
Never even thought about it. Because they have every once in a while you'll see them have the referee cam.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand that. Like, why?
I thought they were supposed to do that with the Randy Orton Edge match, but I guess they didn't end up doing that.
Oh, you mean the greatest wrestling match of all time?
Yeah.
Oh, that was hard to watch. That was,
did you see what Edge said about that later, or Cope, whatever you want to call him?
What did he say?
Basically, they were put in a corner with that. So he's like, well, instead of trying to make the greatest wrestling match ever, we're going to make this a love story to wrestling.
Yeah, okay, so, I did see that.
And they did a bunch of different callbacks of different things in that match.
Yeah. I think the building of the greatest wrestling match ever was very over the top. And really and truly, it was setting them up for failure. Like, you're setting this giant standard up that, we want you to go out and you're going to have the greatest match of all time compared to all these. No.
I will say it was a very good match.
It was, but the greatest match of all time, I felt.
Yeah, that shouldn't have had a tagline.
No, that should not have been the tagline on that. But the Firefly Funhouse match, probably one of the best cinematic matches. Yeah, probably one of the best cinematic matches that they that went on during this era.
There's a Boneyard match.
There's the Boneyard match, yeah. Which is crazy because that's Taker's considered his last match.
Yep.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
His last match was a cinematic match
against AJ Styles.
They made him look like $1 million.
Yeah,
I mean they truly did. But we found out very quickly, in which people in the industry knew this, but fans figured out very quickly that again it's hard to have a wrestling match when you don't have nobody there.
Yeah,
especially when you start hearing them calling out spots.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think I'm supposed to hear that.
Or if you weren't in America and you saw during the commercial break and they just stood there.
Oh, yeah, there was that. Yeah.
They later fixed that, but...
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Nobody's there. You're in commercial
People
break.
complained about that. It's it's TV. What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know. But I'll say this. People complain sometimes for the sake of complaining.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just that. But... There was and another interesting thing, and this is on the AEW side of things. I remember MJF talking because where they did all of that stuff, all their stuff at Daly's Place. Mm-hmm. It was also around the time later that year was when Sting debuted for AEW.
I'll have a comment on that regarding cinematic matches.
Okay, we'll get to that here in a second. But MJF made the comment that where they were in Jacksonville for so long, they had their own mini territory there.
Yeah.
Because they just had the same people coming back every week to watch the show when they were able to let fans in. So I can see the point that he's making. And Jacksonville has sort of turned into it basically is the home for AEW.
Oh, it is. I mean, that's officially their headquarters.
Yeah.
That complex there.
Exactly. But what were you going to say about Sting?
Like cinematic matches, I think his cinematic match with Darby Allin and Team Taz might be the best cinematic match that's been done during the pandemic era.
True. Up there with the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, but the thing about that one was like they actually basically had a match. Like there wasn't none of this weird whatever stuff going on.
Yeah. And also that was because of Sting's injuries and his age at that point, that was probably the best way to bring him into the fold with AEW and such, and kind of kick the can down the road. Hey, we'll deal with the matches later on when we have fans and have to do them in person. But hey, let's take advantage of this cinematic stuff right now. And I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, a couple years before the pandemic happened, was when the Ultimate Deletion happened.
Yep.
So,
yeah, there's been a couple of cinematic-esque matches before, but it was really at Hardy's with that whole whatever you call Ultimate Deletion matches, whatever.
Yeah.
That they did that really brought that up.
Yeah, which was
influenced the pandemic in a way.
It really did, because I remember when that match first came out, the cinematic match in Impact at the time. It wasn't TNA. There was a lot of people that, from what I remember, they were kind of on the fence about it. They're like, I don't know, it's kind of hokey, it's kind of corny and whatnot. Pandemic happens, everybody's got to stay home.
Yeah.
Then we start seeing cinematic matches and start to realize, there is a utilization to that. Now, in this day and age, should we have more cinematic matches? Should we have at least one or two more in the fold? Maybe not all the time, but like every once in a while have one.
I think every once in a while if it calls for it.
Yeah. If the story calls for it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like having Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Have it when it means something.
Not because you're having a pay-per-view.
Yeah, don't name like WWE Cinematic Pay-Per-View or Cinematic Premium Live Event.
Yeah.
Use it very sparingly, because then less is more.
Yes. No, that's 100% true.
Like, have it to bring back Malachi Black.
Yeah. That I think that would be a smart way to bring him in, because his character in general kind of leans into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That dark, spooky type of stuff.
Speaking of him, like when he was last in WWE, he was coming back during the pandemic era. He had this whole dark father story going on. It looked really interesting, and then he got cut right in the middle of it.
Yeah. And that was a Vince thing.
Yeah,
because I think Vince was still in charge at the time, right? Yeah.
And the cool vignettes for it was like they were like really like animated and really cool looking. It was getting really interesting.
I maybe would have had the Wyatt Six's first match as a cinematic match.
Yeah.
Maybe have it to where Aleister Black. Now, I'm assuming he's coming back as Aleister.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the only way I could think of that. Do you have him come back and have a feud with the Wyatt Six to where he wants to have control of them? Because they're not really doing anything with the Wyatt Six in general.
Well, from my understanding, Bo or Uncle Howdy, he's been injured at the moment, but they're supposed to be coming back soon. Alexa Bliss is supposed to have a story with them going to WrestleMania. So,
okay.
Well, but that doesn't mean you still couldn't do vignettes with them.
Yeah.
Some screen time is better than no screen time.
Exactly, and also have him try to influence them to come to his side versus staying where they're at. I don't know. I'm just spitballing right now. Now, I'll say this, and this is another thing that popped in my head because you mentioned releases. I know that WWE released people, but this was the first time I remember them doing like mass releases all at once.
Budget cuts.
Yeah, budget cuts and all of that. I remember when it when they first announced it, because I was watching
profits.
yeah, we're going to budget cuts, but record-breaking profits. Story for another day. Yeah. But I remember when they first, like, the first big round of cuts came, because I was watching, it was Cultaholic, and it was a live stream with Adam Pacitti. And it was just one after another. Yeah. And he was, like, trying his best to keep up with it all. And I can't remember, I don't know the exact number of everybody that was released at first. But
like 20-some.
It was. I mean, I know that it was quite a bit. But that's the first time, like I said, I remember WWE actively, like, mass releasing people all at once.
I will say, I mean, it sucked that they got released, but the Good Brothers, one of the most amazing things that came out of the pandemic era because of their release was the Talk and Chop-A-Mania shows, which you two still need to watch.
Yeah, still need to watch that.
Yes, I would very much want to watch
Two
them.
of the best pandemic era shows ever. They're really good. They're straight comedy stuff. But.
I think that's some of their best stuff. Yeah. Is when they just lean into the ridiculousness.
Take the Southpaw stuff and put that into, like, current.
Okay.
I mean,
like that kind of slapstick comedy and whatnot.
Okay.
I know we've said it before on the show. If you've never watched
Social Distancing Battle Royal.
It's Stang. Well, who was it? Was it Heath that was?
Heath. During the Social Distancing Battle Royal, all of a sudden he pops out of the woods, points the bat at the ring. It's like, oh my God, is that Stang? And he just goes away.
Wait, so that's it? He just goes away?
That's it.
Okay.
He literally showed up for that one spot and then went somewhere else.
I mean, it's not like he was doing anything else at that time.
That's true. He got kids, though.
Hey, can you stand in the woods and point dressed up like Sting? Yeah, man, I can do that. You want to pay me? I will give you a cheeseburger. Yeah, man, I'll do that.
Hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah. And they had their own version of a boneyard match. I don't know if I can say that.
No, we can't say that. No.
No.
Talk of Shopomania. What is it?
Scott Steiner's in the second one.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Oh.
Gotta watch these.
Yeah, we do.
I will say the first one's better than the second one, but.
Just like Land Before Time.
Why is there 14 Land Before Times? And a 26 episode season? Why?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, the things you learn on the show.
Have they made too many Land Before Times? Yep.
I will say one of the good things that come out of the pandemic era is promos, with like Roman Reigns, for example.
Oh God, yeah. Because the Thunderdome, that Royal Rumble, that's where the heel turn started. Like, it was the Royal Rumble, wasn't it? When he came out and he turned.
No, that was SummerSlam.
Well,
he came back at SummerSlam. We didn't quite know what was going on, and then on SmackDown is when we saw Paul Heyman together, and that's
That's not a spoiler. It's a promise.
You'll never see what comes next. What was the tagline? You won't see it coming. That's what it was.
I mean, it's true.
Shucky ducky, quack quack.
And 1 week later, he wins the Universal title and begins that long reign.
That's true. Yep. That's true. Up until last WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true.
It's daggone true.
It dadgummit true.
We also had the Drew McIntyre WWE title reign.
That was but we also saw the last main event for WrestleMania for the Big Show. Was it Big Show? I don't know.
It was a dark match.
I'm saying a joke.
Yeah.
Big Show.
Did you know
main event in WrestleMania?
Yeah, did you know in that match he turned face and heel more times than there are Land Before Times?
Stop.
He hit him 15 times.
Good Lord.
Oh my
God. Crazy. It's crazy.
All right, we're going to shift gears real quick to the main event.
Yep.
It looks like all the talking has been done. It's time for the main event.
And welcome to the main event, ladies and gentlemen, where we go ahead and let you know what your upcoming week of professional wrestling is going to look like.
Yeah, baby.
Internationally, nationally,
That's time.
And of course, locally, they've already lost their minds.
Yeah, baby, come on, let's go, baby.
Thursday.
Let's go, baby. Main event, baby.
Thursday, March 20th, New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup Final.
New Cup final, baby.
Woo! Friday, March 21st, CMLL. I'm just.
Consejo Mundo de Lucha Libre.
Yeah, baby. What he said, baby.
You want to say the next part?
Homenaje de los leyendas.
Translation.
Watch the two legends, baby. Yeah, baby.
The annual event honors CMLL founder Salvador Luteroth Gonzalez
Close enough, baby.
and a retired or deceased luchador each year, with the latter for this year being Salvador Luteroth Camus.
I don't know.
Wow, it's funny because that sentence didn't end in a question mark, but the way you inflected it sure did.
I know.
Salvador.
And then Saturday, March 22nd, AAA has King of Kings.
Ray de Rays.
Yes.
I like how you have here Lucha Libre AAA, commonly known as just AAA.
Oh, you got
The full name is Lucha Libre AAA.
I know, but it's like AAA, also known as
AAA.
AAA.
Not the car company,
Yeah.
not the car stuff either. People would probably be mortified and have humor if they saw our rundown on this show from time to time. They would definitely be
AAA actually means something. They don't use it anymore, but it's Asistencia Asesoria y Administración.
The administration?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Assistance.
baby.
So it was translation: assistance, advisory, and administration of spectacles.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the look that Jason just gave. He looks so-
AAA sounds better.
Yeah.
All right. Shifting gears to locally, Saturday, March
Shifted, baby.
22nd.
Shifted in the third, baby.
All-
the turbo.
Turbo, baby.
All-Star Wrestling will be at the Madison Civic Center in Madison, West Virginia for their
19-year insane anniversary. 19-year insane anniversary. It goes insane.
as it will feature wrestlers from Juggalo Championship Wrestling, including the Insane Clown Posse's
Yeah, baby.
Violent J.
Violent J, baby.
Show.
JCW is based out of Detroit, Michigan, but
Detroit,
runs shows across the country and was founded by ICP,
Yeah, baby.
which have been involved in Extreme Championship Wrestling, the World Wrestling Federation, and World Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, baby. Get powerbombed by that 70s man, Mike Awesome, baby.
Additionally, the Indie God, Matt Cardona, will be in action, as will AEW and ROH star Colt Cabana.
He has a studio apartment, baby.
This event will also feature the ASW Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, baby. Don't know who's in it.
We'll find
Shane
out.
Storm. I know he's one.
Oh, really?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, baby. Shane Storm, baby.
Congratulations to Shane Storm for
Yeah,
being
baby.
inducted
Yeah,
into
there'll be
the...
three. I know he's one of three.
Yep. Meet and greet is at 5 o'clock. Bell time is 7 o'clock. Reserved seating is $20, and general admission is $15.
Yeah.
What about Admiral admission?
12.
Lieutenant?
13.
Lieutenant Dan admission.
11.
Yeah, baby.
Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance will be at Kaiser High School in Kaiser, West Virginia.
No name for this event, baby.
Bell time is 7 o'clock, and tickets are $25 for first row, $20 for second and third rows, and $18 for bleacher seating.
I'm just interjecting myself wherever I can, baby.
Elite Pro also does regular shows, typically every Thursday at 7 o'clock at the Indie Theater in Kaiser with a $10 admission.
$10, baby.
West Virginia Wrestling Federation and Mountain Mama Wrestling will be at the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Again, no name, so I'm just interjecting myself. I hope this bell time's at 7 p.m. with $10. Well, it's free for kids 5 and under. I hope that's what you're going to say next, baby. Yeah, baby.
I'm glad you said that, because bell time is 7 o'clock. Tickets are $10 while it's free for kids 5 and under.
I knew it, baby.
We're going to stop it right there, take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap it up.
Once again, here's Hollywood Jeff Petty.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grill Out. I'm your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty. That was Josh Cole, baby.
Who?
What?
Happy 316 Day. That's Jason
Yeah.
Lykens. Now I've just
What?
lost him.
What? I like salt. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow the show, you can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Grill Out. You can also email us, thegrillout95@gmail.com. We are also on Blue Sky at thegrillout.bsky.social.
Tell us what your favorite Land Before Time is.
Please, tell us what your favorite Land Before Time is, and if you learned anything from this podcast, let us know that.
Land Before Time, the pandemic.
Also, yeah, like, one thing, like, let us know, like, what is your first memory of the pandemic? Like, when you think of pandemic-era wrestling, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Let us know about that. And until next time, fellow wrestling fans, have a good one.
Shucky ducky quack quack.